say, it's Amy from Amy G's Creations. I'm back again for another Flosstube. My last Flosstube. Until after summer vacation. I'm not leaving Flosstube. I have way too much fun making them, and I have found such a great community and friends here. I'm not going to stop. At least not for a while. Not for the foreseeable future, shall we say. But for July and August, there's just too much going on. So much fun stuff. I don't even know how much stitching I'm going to get to, but I'm for sure not going to have time for filming. So this will be it until the end of August. But I have some great things to show you in this one. First, let's start with a fully finished item. This is my magical signpost off of Etsy. And this was stitched on 38 count self-dyed linen. It was not 38 count when I dyed it, but the dyeing process shrunk it a bit. I stitched everything with the called for colors, and I actually used 2 strands on 38 count, which made it a little difficult sometimes, but I like the fluffy, thick coverage of that. 1 strand, I'm not into the prim look. No, I want it to be full coverage. And so I used 2 strands. The only change I made was all over in this pattern. There were supposed to be like little yellow, not really snowflakes. They looked like crosses, actually. And I think they were supposed to be like glitter, like stars flickering. And so instead, I reached into my old scrapbooking and card making stash and found these little diamonds. Self-adhesive sticking they're not real diamonds, obviously. And stuck those on there, and I like it very much. The frame, I framed it myself. I got it at our secondhand store in town. She has so much stuff. And I found 2 frames exactly alike. One will be this, one will be something else. 2 other frames that were different, and for all of 4 of them, it cost me $10. And I got to hang out it was an actual warm day of the summer. Not only was it warm, it was super humid because it needed to rain, but it didn't rain until that night. And down in her basement where all the empty frames were, was so nice and cool. I swear, I offered to pay her extra so I could sleep down there. And she laughed and she's like, no, because I'm sleeping down there. And I was like, fair. So yeah, really happy with that. My husband likes it very much. I do too. Very happy with that. So that is a full finish. I was so close by my last Flosstube that I just kept working on it and completely finished it, and then fully finished it as well. Then I did my New Year's start, or my New Year's whip. And of course I do it on the 25th. Now this year, or this month, I knew the 25th was going to be super busy. My husband and I cook for the young adults in our church on every other Tuesday. And this last Tuesday was their end of the year party. They're not going to have classes, religion classes, until in September again. Starting in September. So it was a big party, and so I made sweet and sour chicken for 45 people. And so that day, the 25th was spent grocery shopping and food, like cutting up chicken, marinating it, cutting up the vegetables. Yeah, so I knew there was and then we were there cooking and cleaning and serving until we didn't get home until 11:45 at night. So no stitching. But the next day I stitched. And so last time I had most of the basket done, like the form of it, but the inside, it was kind of like an open weave basket. And so now that's all done except for one little stitch right there. I started on the turkey, and I finished this bottom line here was only partway done with one side of the cross. So I finished that completely, started going back the other way, and the only change in color that I'm using, these are all the card for colors on the Cherry Garden from Twin Peak Primitives, would be nice to say what it is they're all called for colors except for this was supposed to be brown, and I am using a Color Fever color instead. from my friend Francisca, because it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a deep purple. The variation is subtle, but beautiful, and yeah, super happy with it. So that was good progress. And then my big new start I will get to, but I had a second new start. This was very small. So my big new start is too big and bulky and cumbersome to take in the car. Well, we were going someplace where I knew we were going to be like almost an hour there and almost an hour back. And I was like, that is too much stitching time to waste. And so something that's on perforated paper is always a good idea. I do not have any more Mill kits left, Mill Hill kits. But I had this from Satsuma Street. And so I started on it. And I got quite a bit done for there and back. Now I am already decided that this teal color I'm going to swap out for a true darker green. And all these pink dots in his body I am going to change for red dots. But otherwise I will leave everything else the same. And I think when I go to Utah, more on that later, I will try to get some more perforated paper because I want to make this pattern again, but kind of do a reverse image so that the pony has a friend. I don't like individual random ornaments on my Christmas tree. I know some people do. I don't. I like to have sets of things. All my ornaments are not the same, but I like to have sets of things. And so I want to kind of have a set of these Satsuma Street ones. I have another pattern of hers that I bought. I'm probably going to purchase a few more, but I also thought that 2 of these horses would be quite fun. So that's my plan for that. Yeah. So that was my random, because I needed something car stitching start. And then my big start. My first and only full coverage. Well, okay. I already have full coverage patterns of those mini masterpieces and ones of the national parks that I just bought, but those are like small. They're like 2 inches by 3 inches. So yeah, it's technically full coverage, but it's not full coverage, okay? This is my one and only giant full coverage piece that I will ever in my lifetime make. She says. Now. And it is by Unconventional Cross Stitch. Van Gogh Never Met the Fellowship. And here it is. Oh, I have worked on this for 21 days. I am already at 7.3%. And I have 18,307 stitches. And I'm still going. I love this thing. I love this thing. It is so fun. I am so happy that this is the pattern I chose for my full coverage. Because as you will see, so I started out doing the typewriter method with this first 10-inch block. Okay, 10 square block. But then quickly realized that there are only little bits of confetti like right here in this first block. And everything else, as you can see, is blocks of color. I mean, they're not blocks, they like wander around, but it's big chunks of color. There is very little confetti in here. And even the confetti, it's still, it follows a line, right? Like you can, it's a trail. That's just the nature of the pattern. And so I'm just following the colors, and I will go extreme cross country to get to the next one if I need to. But if it's really too far, then I can't do it, and I will just close it off and do a pin stitch and start over in the new one. But this is on 18 count Aida, and I'm super glad I chose that with pre-gridded fabric. The grids really help a ton because you can tell almost immediately when something's off when you've miscounted. And the 18 count helps me find the holes, but it's really good coverage. I'm doing full cross, two threads over one square. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy with the coverage. I am happy with the pattern. This is the very end. Okay? This is how big it will be. Now it's a square, so it will be as long as it is wide. And now that I've gotten all the way over to this edge, I am concentrating on feeling filling all of this in completely so that I can roll the fabric down and then start on the bottom half, because I'm stitching this in hand. I'm not using a hoop. I'm not using a scroll frame. I don't have a scroll frame. I'm not investing money in a scroll frame for this one project. That's ridiculous. So I'm stitching this in hand, and so that's why I need to finish the top so I can start rolling it down to make it easier to grip in my hand. I am having a fantastic time with this. The 18 count makes it mostly easy to see. I do have to put on my reading glasses over my bifocals just to make sure I can really see. But I love this thing. I'm so happy. And I just discovered, my son informed me, he was going to originally graduate in a year. Unfortunately, the extra year of schooling that he has to do to complete for his teacher's certificate, it was supposed to start in August. He didn't realize that registration for that was back in February, because he's used to all his other classes at the university, bachelor's and master's. You register like July 1st for classes that start in September. And so he missed the deadline to register, so he won't be able to start until February rather than August. But he doesn't have to wait a whole year, just has to wait 6 months. But that gives me an extra 6 months until I need to have this finished. So I'm just able to enjoy this. I'm just working on it. My goal is I try to get 700 stitches a day, because I figured out then I need to work on it for like 300 days, and I'll for sure get it done because it's 250,000 stitches. But some days I don't, and I don't stress about it, because almost all the confetti type is up here. When it gets further down, there's mountains that are almost completely 3865 with a little bit of outline in a blue. And then the fellowship outlines, those figures, their shapes are all 939. So it's giant blocks of color. And then there's a little bit of bottom background. Like there's yeah. And so the hardest, most difficult stitching is up here on the top. And so I'm just taking it easy. I'm just enjoying it. Do what I can do. And yeah. And so far I haven't really wanted to stitch on anything else. I now have time. I could work on some other projects, but I'm just having so much fun seeing this thing take shape that I don't want to stop. So I'm just continuing to do what I want to do with it. You want to see my back? I'll show you my back. I have no shame. It's not bad. It's not bad. Considering I've never done cross country, I've never done full coverage, I'm not following any set plan. I'm really happy with this. Yeah. Yay! But I will probably have another couple of projects to show you at the end of August. Why can I not film till the end of August? Well, let's see. My daughter is getting on the plane like as I film. Okay, this is July 2nd. As I film, she's getting on the plane. I will go pick her up tomorrow morning. Then the next day after that is July 4th. Woo! I mean, but yeah, we'll celebrate that. And then it's my birthday, and then it's my daughter's birthday. In between my birthday and my daughter's birthday, we're leaving for our road trip. We're renting a van, and we are driving from our house to Milan, to Venice, to Croatia, going all over Croatia. Then on the way home, we're going up to Salzburg. My husband is actually half Austrian, and we have not been to Austria for a while. And it was time. We need to go again. So we're going to spend a night and part of 2 days in Salzburg, and then come home. I'm getting home on Friday evening. And then Saturday, there is a meetup in Stuttgart of, German and Swiss stitchers. I don't know how many Swiss people are going to be there, actually. But I have signed up for Saturday. I won't make it Friday at the actual Zweigart factory, but Saturday they usually go to a cafe or something to cross stitch, and I'm going to try to meet up with them because I just love those ladies and I want to see them. They're so nice. The German stitching community is awesome. They are awesome. So I want to meet up with them, and then come back from that, and then it's 1. August, which is the 1st of August, Switzerland's birthday. Then on the 8th, my daughter leaves. Then on the 12th, I leave to go to Utah. It's my parents' 60th wedding anniversary this July, and my father turned 95 this year. So he's not going to be with us for much longer, and they want to have a big family reunion. Unfortunately, not everybody can come. Not all the spouses and not all the kids. Not my spouse isn't coming, and my kids, not all my kids are coming. But all the siblings will be there, and my daughter Sarah will come down, and my son Noah and his girlfriend Maddie are gonna come down for the weekend. So that will be really nice. So I'm there for a week. I'm flying into Vegas, going to St. George. I won't make it up north, sadly, heartbreaking. But I'm there for so short a time. My brother's flying in from Connecticut. My other brother's flying in from Kentucky. The short time I'm there, I'm literally there for 7 days. I want to spend with my parents. Because again, my dad's 95, people, 95. But obviously I will need a plane project, so who knows? And obviously I'm going to be in Utah, so I can order stuff and have it delivered to my parents, hence the extra perforated paper and who knows what other goodies I will find. Yeah. And so that is why I know for sure I'm not going to even have much to show you, and for sure will not have time to film until the end of August. So, but then, yeah, you'll just get surprised. You won't even know besides this thing, you won't even know what I've worked on. So, yeah, I guess that's it for me. Kind of a short one today. But life is pretty good. For now. And you know what? We've just learned to take it one day at a time, right? That's all you can do. So, yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic summer. We are having the perfect summer weather, rainy and cool. And on the days that it's hot and muggy, in the evening, it rains almost all the time. So, and we are up on a hill. So there are people who are getting flooded, and our hearts go out to them. But we are not. We are Noah's Ark up on Mount Sinai, whatever, the mountain that it was supposedly landed on. Ararat? I don't know. They didn't really find it, I don't think. But anyway, we are up on the top of the mountain, safe from all the rain and flooding, and just enjoying how nice and cool it is. We're going to get plenty of heat and sun in Croatia. We're going to get plenty of heat and sun in Utah, southern Utah, in August. Just thinking about it makes me thirsty. But it'll be great. It'll be lovely. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying whatever summer you've got going on, and I will see you again in 2 months. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the comments, and thank you to all my dear friends who always watch. Cheers.